Islam Makhachev
Mm,
gets the first round TKO of Bobby Green. I'm not even sure Bobby Green landed a shot.
yeah.
And it doesn't feel much different than the Dan Hooker bout. Truth be told, it felt very much like the same type of bout. Islam immediately gets the takedown. Um, his opponent basically struggles to on the bottom, and then eventually Islam gets either the submission in the Hooker fight here. He uses the ground and pound to put him away. Some nasty hammer fist that felt like it was a bit of a statement there at the
Yeah.
end. So, your thoughts on the fight, and I guess, how do you feel about each guy as they move forward from the spout?
I mean, what other way could it have went? Truthfully, I mean, we kind of all had this suspicion of at least what Islam was going to do. It was more so a matter, and I remember asking before the fight started, how long before this fight takes place on the ground? How long is Bobby going to last? And that's not even a slight to Bobby. I mean, this guy came in on 10 days' notice when he accepted the fight, and got in here. And he just tried his best. He went toe for toe. But at the end of the day, Islam does this to not only a guy on short notice, but he does it to his last 10 opponents, man. The last four via finish. He's an absolute savage. He's an animal, and he is, in fact, next for that title shot. No, it was just a flawless performance. He went out there. He was on the feet a little longer than I expected early, which I was like, I mean, if you're going to take chances, probably not the guy to do it with Bobby Green. But when he got him up to the cage and got the takedown, it was just the beginning of the end, man. So what a performance for Islam. He just solidifies a spot there as a title challenger. For Bobby Green, there's absolutely no negative takeaways for me. I mean, again, when you come in on short notice against a guy like Islam, you only have so many expectations to live up to. And he's just so humble in defeat, man. His post fight interviews are always so great. He's an amazing guy.
Because he got paid, I think.
Yes, and it was an amazing platform for him. They did showcase him a lot going into the fight with promos and whatnot. He deserves it. He's paid his dues in the UFC, and rightfully so now to get his first main event slot. Hopefully, he can get another one down the line with an actual training camp. But for now, Islam Makhachev owns the night.
Yeah, I can't say I walked away going feeling like Bobby Green should get another main event spot after this. I feel like, get another victory or two, and then he'll be right there again. I saw a lot of people throwing out him versus Brad Rydell
Yeah, it's
as
a
a
sick
potential
fight.
fight. It's a really good fight. Seems like Brad Rydell's getting matched up against
Yeah,
everybody knocking on the door for top 15, but rightfully so. I don't see Rydell versus Green as a main event, personally. I don't think it's that caliber of fight. I mean, it's a great fight, but it doesn't quite have the star power that you would want as like your fight night main event. But if that's what happens, that's what happens. I think the bigger takeaway here, though, is about Islam Makhachev and what's next for him. You came right out and said title shot next, but there is still a debate going on, Dominic.
yeah,
Surprisingly, and there was a. I mean, it feels like it's kind of been a debate every step of the way. When Islam defeated Dan Hooker in the fashion he did, we were ready to put him next
yeah,
at the Charles Oliveira Dustin Poirier fight. Then the next week, Justin Gaethje has our fight of the year for
yeah,
2021 with Michael Chandler, and we said, well, maybe Justin Gaethje should
yeah,
get the next title shot.
yeah.
But it was with the caveat that Islam could probably just wait even for the next one.
Right.
Well, instead, Islam takes a fight with Beneil Dariush. Dariush falls out. In steps Bobby Green, and he dominates him in the same fashion he did Dan Hooker. I say he gets a title fight next. But the other side of the debate is, well, look at the level of competition he's beating. It's not his best win up to this day is Dan Hooker, and that's like the number 8 ranked guy in the world. Not exactly the resume to get you a title fight. But I say in this situation, Justin Gaethje's definitely getting the next. I mean, I think that's pretty much all but confirmed.
Yeah,
So Islam Makhachev can't exactly help the fact that he's lost bouts with Rafael dos Anjos
exactly.
and now Beneil Dariush. I mean, he was in those fights. Yes, I know. I think one time out of the 3 times that RDA and him were supposed to fight, I believe it was Islam that pulled out. But I mean, the other 2 times it's RDA, which no slight to those guys for pulling out. I mean, it's you're injured, you got COVID,
Yeah,
whatever it might be. You got to do what you got to do. But he was in that bout like ready to go. His opponent didn't make it. We shouldn't hold that against him because
yes,
he stayed on the card both
yes,
times now. gets replacement opponents. Dan Hooker, a great opponent, even on 1 month notice, makes him look like less than a top 10 caliber fighter. And then Bobby Green here, who had everything to gain from this matchup, and he disposed of him easily. Clearly, he should be the next guy, in my opinion.
Yes, thank you very much. I mean, I couldn't have put it any better. It's not to his detriment. He's done everything you can ask a fighter to do to earn a title fight. He's fighting people regardless of who it is. He doesn't care who it is because he's just going to go out and he's going to win. Hence, a 10-fight win streak, which is, I think, tied for it's like the second most in the UFC. There's a 15 from Kamaru and then 3 guys that have won 10 straight, Volk, Oliveira, and now Islam Makhachev. So he's now joined elite company. He's been sitting here waiting forever. He just added another notch to his resume. He is going to be, or he should be, facing the winner of Gaethje Oliveira. I know I saw ESPN MMA tweet out, I guess, Dana called Habib and ensured him, yes, Islam Makhachev is next for the title. Dana, thank you for clarifying.
Well, I also found it interesting that after the fight, Islam seemed to already know that UFC 281 in the fall will be in Abu Dhabi. Kind of interesting. I think those guys might have a little bit of insight there. But I think it's pretty clear that's where they're going to shoot for that title fight. I think in the fall, Islam won't have to deal with the Ramadan. I know that's something that Habib had to kind of work around. So Islam will probably fight again in the fall. Winner of Gaethje Oliveira, I would say, is next. Now, maybe we should address this. At Bellator, we had Conor McGregor in the crowd, and he seemed to be in a very good mood. He
did.
Very energetic. He was there from the first fight to the main event, which, a lot of people in his position probably wouldn't do, so good on him. And he did an interview with I forget how to pronounce the guy's name. It's like Sean Sihan.
Yeah, he did a really good job.
And one of the, I guess, notes of the interview is that Conor is pretty committed and confident in this idea that he's going to come back in July and fight for the lightweight title right away. Is there any chance in your mind, like, even despite what, Conor is, what he means to the UFC versus what Islam means, what Charles Oliveira wants, whatever, is there any chance that Conor McGregor swoops in and takes that title fight before Islam Makhachev?
There's always a chance because, money talks and the pay-per-view buys talk. But man, as an MMA fan, a hardcore fan, this would just be a gut punch, a ball kick. I mean, everything under the sun. It would just be horrendous if that were to be the case, if I'm being honest. I know even Conor was saying, hey, Charles, maybe you just wait 2 extra months and you can just welcome me back anyways for a title. I'm like, dude, Conor, calm down, man. Calm down. This division, whether he likes it or not, it's moving on without him. That's how it works in the fight game. And so, yes, he's always going to be relevant and he's always going to have his name in the hat for a title fight. Chances of him passing Islam up, I'm going to say 0. I don't think the UFC will do it. I think as much as they love Conor, even Dana himself is probably thinking this is not going to be a good look if we throw him right in for a title fight. I don't even know the last time Conor's won a fight. It feels like it's been so long. It was January of 2020. So, and we know his record in the lightweight division as well. So I'm not on board with it. When Conor returns, it's going to be big regardless. But to me, no, it won't be for a title fight.
I agree. I think that a lot of people are very concerned about it, and I don't necessarily think they should be. Now, I get it. Conor, the biggest star in the UFC's history, and with the kind of pay-per-views, the kind of eyeballs that he brings in, you can never quite count him out. I think all he has to do is win one fight, and then he's going to be there.
I do agree with that.
But I don't think if he were to be put into it, and I know this is maybe hyperbole, this might come off like I'm, just talking in the moment and that it's fresh and whatnot. It would be the most undeserved title shot ever given, especially if Islam were healthy and able to fight. That's kind of the big thing. Is so much can change. If Oliveira or Gaethje win that fight and get hurt for an extended period of time, and let's say an interim belt has to be introduced, maybe it's Islam versus Conor in Abu Dhabi. I mean, things could definitely happen to where Conor could somehow step in, I guess. But there would have to be a lot of things that would have to go his way,
Right.
Dustin Poirier would have to be pretty much remove himself from the conversation completely,
Yeah.
which there's a chance that happens because he seems to have retirement on the mind. And he could be, but this lightweight division's always kind of ran this way. It's the most interesting, most talent-stacked division in the UFC, but it's always been a damn mess.
Yes,
Just
very true.
really since Conor came into the fold, it's just been a mess. And we finally seem to kind of have, some stability.
Yep.
Charles Oliveira's champion. He had a great 2021, looking to continue that run in 2022 against a very valid number one contender, Justin Gaethje. But when Conor comes back, it could shake things up again. I just don't think it's going to shake things up in that way.
Yeah, I surely hope not.
If Islam's available, he's getting it next. Like, there's no way that Conor comes in and takes that title fight. I just don't believe that.
Yeah, I agree.